quickly first, little advertisement. My name is Scott Breckner, and I teach Learn 11 and the Study Skills workshops through our department here. If you are looking for a 3-unit class in the spring that'll help you to be a better student, Learn 11's a good one, whether I teach it or somebody else. And also, these workshops are going to be held again in the spring. So if you find this workshop helpful today, there are going to be about 12 or 13 more starting the 3rd week of the spring. That'll always be on Wednesday at 12. I'm not sure if it'll be in this room or some other room around here, but you can just keep that in mind. And we always start the 3rd week of the semester, so there will be new schedules up on the front counter, probably the 1st week of spring, and you could stop by and sort of check that out. And if anything looks of interest, or if you have another teacher who gives you extra credit, you know where to find me, okay? Now, this workshop is being repeated mostly because in some ways it's the most helpful one or close to it. I want to ask a really quick question. Anybody here have at least one final coming up that has multiple choice questions on it? Okay, I'm assuming most of you do. If not, you will. Multiple choice is the most commonly given test question in college, and a lot of people, when it comes to multiple choice, do some things wrong that causes them to kind of sabotage themselves and not do as well as they should. So before we get to multiple choice, I'm going to give you 3 general test-taking strategies, and these are strategies that are supposed to help a student to get off to a good start on a test, no matter what kind of test it is, so whether it's essay or multiple choice or whatever. Now, I do need to say one thing before I write these up here. If you haven't studied, this will not help you. I'm not a miracle worker, so some people are always looking for the last little trick. If you've studied, and it's all up there, this is supposed to help you to get all of it out on the test. There's nothing worse than half hour later as you're driving home thinking, and you remember half the answers that you forgot during the test. That's not good. So the first one of these, when students get their test, hopefully they read the directions. But then the next thing that most people do is they start reading the first question and just go, you know, because again, the clock has started and they feel pressure. But actually, one of the smartest things you could do, I don't know if you do this now, is to take about 1 minute or less and preview the test. So just quickly look through the booklet, look at the different parts of the test if there are different parts, and actually, the reason you do this will make more sense in just a minute, but there are 2 pieces of information you're looking for when you do the preview. The first one is the number of questions that will be on the test. Sometimes teachers make that very clear ahead of time, sometimes they don't. And then the other would be the types of questions. So are there different sections of the test, or is it all just sort of one type? Now, I'm going to put up here something I'm going to illustrate again in a minute. Let's say that you have 50 questions on a test. First 30, multiple choice. The next 10, true, false. And then the last 10, matching. Something like that. Some teachers set up their tests like this. Other teachers mix everything together. But one of the smartest things you could do is do this quick preview and then do one more thing. And this is primarily what I'm about to show you here for Scantron type tests. So if you have a written test or a combination of a Scantron and a written one, that's a little more complicated. But what you're going to try to do before you start, which again should just take a few seconds, is to calculate. And you're not using a calculator. Hopefully you can use this one. By this time of the semester, people say,